Hi, this is Jason with Best Bonsai, and here we have a beautiful Crape Myrtle specimen root over rock. Now, the new growth coming in is getting to the point where the shoots are long enough to trim them back to the first 3 sets of leaves or so. The idea is to let these grow out long enough where you get hardwood at the base. So when you cut it, you have a thick enough branch that the tree can ramify from. Just like you see on the previous set of branches. You see how this is a rather thick branch, and then we have 2 secondary branches coming from there. And then the new growth coming out is nice and long, which is let it get hard at the base of the shoot. Now crepe myrtles are very stiff trees. They're very hard wood. So once you let them grow out very, very long and the branches get very thick, like this one here, it's very hard to bend them with wire without snapping them. So when you're creating this initial branch structure, it's a good idea to wire early. So you go ahead and start creating the movement like I did on these branches here, and started getting them to curve, especially on the base where we're going to be trimming back to. So we want to get movement there and work to create our shape where we can create padding with the foliage. So here on these branches you can see they have some movement. So when I trim it back to here, this will have movement before it ramifies to its next set of branches. If I leave them as they are and just trim them back, we will still get ramification, but we're going to have very straight branches, which it doesn't look as natural. Usually in nature the trees have curved branches, and also doesn't look as appealing. Straight lines are not as appealing to the eye as curved ones. So curved lines always look better from an aesthetics point of view. So keeping these branches curved helps keep a good look in the tree. Just giving them a little bit of movement, and doing this while the branches are still softwood is much better, as opposed to bending a very hard branch when they're hardwood. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and wire the rest of these long shoots, these long straight shoots out, so that when I trim them back to the base where you see the hardwood, I'm going to let it get a little bit thicker there, so we have some nice thick branches to work with. And from that set of branches it will ramify again, split to 2 more branches. This is ramification, and this is how you create a miniature looking tree that's not just straight lines and straight branches. Because after all, a tree this age, if was left to nature, would grow as a straight stick straight out of the ground until it was much, much, much taller. Because in nature this tree would be 20 or 30 feet tall before it got to have foliage like you see here. So it's very important to, number one, make sure the space between the internodes, the length of the branches between where they split, is as short as you can, not as short as you can make it, but short proportional to the size of the tree. So my rule of thumb is usually the first 2 sets of leaves, where you can see those leaves are usually smaller, and the longer you let the branch grow out, the bigger the leaves get. So this technique also helps develop smaller foliage on your bonsai tree. All right, beautiful crepe myrtle. This is Jason with Best Bonsai signing out.